Hello and welcome to my channel, I Win to Lose Gaming. After just 4 patch cycles, Cyno's first rerun is already here. And luckily, my Cyno still happens to be at Constellation 0. So in this video, we'll be revisiting a Constellation 0 Cyno showcase. Since my last Constellation Zero's Cyno showcase, there have been a few notable additions to Genshin Impact that will impact Cyno's power, with the main one being Nahida. So in this video, we'll take a quick look at how good Cyno is with our favorite pint-sized all-knowing Dendro Archon. Let's take a look at my Cyno's build. My Cyno is using the Deathmatch at Refinement 5. Why the Deathmatch? Sadly, I don't have a single white tassel on my account, but alas, all of them were sacrificed prior to me realizing how valuable they were. So if you are completely free to play and have a refined white tassel, well, your Cyno will be quite happy. Anyway, he is using the 4-piece Gilded Dreams, and he's of course at Constellation 0 throughout this whole video. And finally, his talents are at 8, 9, and 9. Let's take a quick look at how much raw electro damage he can do. Well, it's great news that even with his raw electro damage, he's able to comfortably single cycle our Reg's fine friend. You'd be surprised at the other recent character that isn't able to do this. So this video, I won't be breaking down all the mechanics of Cyno's kit. For that, I recommend my original Constellation 0 Cyno showcase, which will be linked down below. This video is instead going to focus on the improvements that Cyno has had since his release. When Cyno was released, overall his best Dendro buffer teammate was Dendro Traveler with the Sapwood Blade. Nowadays, his ideal Dendro buffer is a Constellation 2 Nahida. So how much better is Cyno if you did go for Nahida's Constellation 2? Let's find out. Well, that's honestly a huge, well-deserved buff for Cyno if you did actually go all the way for Constellation 2 Nahida. Nahida's Defense Shred and massive Elemental Mastery boost enhances Cyno's damage by a really good amount. Also, Nahida's personal damage is significantly better than Dendro Traveler's. This allows Cyno plus Constellation 2 Nahida to easily one-cycle the Robot Chicken, whereas my Cyno plus Sapwood Blade Traveler was just short of being able to do so. Let's up the ante and use what's colloquially known as his Quick Bloom comp. This is probably one of his best team compositions. Unsurprisingly, our favorite algorithm of semi-transient matrix overseer network stood absolutely no chance against this Quick Bloom comp. However, this is where I'm going to blow your mind. Let's take this Quick Bloom team into Abyss 12. I'm going to do 2 runs, both with the exact same team. Let me know if you can spot the difference between the two. So did you spot the difference between the two runs? Both the runs had the exact same Hyperbloom Team from earlier. In the run on the left, I actually used Cyno a lot, attempting to utilize him as the main DPS and driver for this Hyperbloom Team. In the run on the right, I just use an on-field Kuki Shinobu as much as I can to give her Nahida's Elemental Mastery buff for bigger Hyperblooms. Tragically, the main DPS Kuki Shinobu team fared much better and requires much less gear, and doesn't require another signature 5-star character. Multi-wave content like this is terrible for Cyno, as his inability to swap and long cooldowns don't allow him to reapply Dendro. For the rest of this Abyss 12, Cyno didn't fare much better, performing the same in 12-2-1 as an on-field Kuki, and just a few seconds better in 12-3-1 against his ideal situation, which is a single target punching bag. The total clear times for the two runs were basically the same. Now if Cyno was a free character that miHoYo gives us, like say Collei, and Collei doesn't improve this team, that's fine, because a free Collei isn't a limited 5-star character that free-to-plays had to save months of their saved-up Primo Gems for. Cyno and his best team provides marginal gains for the amount of investment. This is for many reasons. Cyno, with his much lower Elemental Mastery stat than Kuki Shinobu and the lack of Kuki's Flower of Paradise Lost artifact set, deals way less Hyperbloom damage, and he constantly steals them from Kuki because he's on fielding and smacking them with his Electro attacks. On-fielding Cyno also leads to one of the main issues with Cyno, which is the inability to swap and thus battery the supports. And I even spent nearly 50% more attempts and longer doing Cyno's Quick Bloom runs in comparison to the Unga Bunga super easy to use Kuki Hyperbloom run. This is honestly very upsetting to me, as when not using a character in their best team becomes the best option, you know there's a problem when that's the case. What's even more crazy about this is I didn't even on-field Nahida, who, if I had only at Constellation 2, would absolutely murder things faster than even an on-field Kuki did. Admittingly, Constellation 2 Nahida does benefit Hyperbloom more in a Quick Bloom team than the Defense Shred benefits Cyno. But the marginal gains even with a Constellation 1 or below Nahida that Cyno provides just isn't worth it in terms of Primo Gem value. And let's not even talk about actually replacing Cyno with another free-to-play friendly character like Fischl or even a 50-50 loss to Kaching. The above example is literally just not using Cyno at all, without even a useful fourth character. So yeah, sadly, although Nahida is indeed an undeniable and an objective and mathematical buff for Cyno, Cyno is not actually elevated by Nahida, as using him tends to not actually benefit a Nahida team. Now, does this mean that Cyno will forever languish like this? Personally, I hope not. What I'd like to see is an off-field Dendro applicator that works similarly to Xingqiu Yalan that lasts a very long time, has low energy requirements so Cyno doesn't have to worry about battering them, and who enhances aggravate damage more so than other types of damage, so that way aggravate can be competitive to Quick Bloom. This isn't to say that Cyno is unusable right now, because obviously, as we can see, my Cyno is able to easily 9-star Abyss 12. Anyway, until the day comes where miHoYo buffs Cyno in a way that can overtake his own Hyperbloom teams, stay strong, my fellow Cyno enjoyers, as we can still all enjoy our journey through future Impact. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. This is I Went to Lose, signing out.
はびこりなさい。これこそが知恵の手。股間奥義。降伏しろ。この身で万象を粛清する。